So a lot of people have been requesting right-hand turns, city driving, and I no, I've been driving in the city, mainly city driving for the last 18, 19 years. Okay, so I have quite the experience. Now the stuff that I'm going to be teaching here, all right, a lot of it is post getting your CDL, meaning when you're doing your CDL, life isn't as simple as the test that you're going to do. The chances are you're going to be driving a trailer that's going to be a lot smaller. You're going to have taken these turns like 50 times already, so you already know how to take them. But so this is when you're approaching a turn you've never made before, and how to do it. See, a lot of times you can't always obey the rules, especially the CDL rules. All right, so I'm just going to kind of teach you what's going on. Right now, this particular corner right here is a pretty standard one in a city that's on a truck route. Okay. Now, what I take into consideration, right, is this point right here. This is the most important part for me. All right. So when I'm driving forward, all right, I take into consideration the distance from my axles to the curb. Now I'm driving in a straight line. I'm not turning to the left or to the right or whatever. This is when I'm just driving dead straight. Okay. I take a look. Now the closer you are, the later you have to turn. All right. Because if you let's say you were right next to it, well, you're going to have to wait till the axles get to this point, and then you can start turning. All right, and the chances are it'll go out, and then it'll come back in again. All right, that's usually what happens for most corners. You know, you'll be nice and close, then you get far away, then it gets kind of close again. So you got to take that into consideration. So, like for this distance that I'm here, all right, you can probably turn roughly around here. You can start your turn. All right, but then I would keep it wide, and then I would just hug everything onto the left. And once my axles get to roughly around this part, is when I can actually start. Well, I can start going back into the right hand lane, because as I say, because a lot of times you just want to finish off in the right hand lane. All right, so I'm not going to do it yet. I'm just going to keep holding it, and yeah, I think roughly around here is when I can start coming in. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys know who are watching this probably have already been driving before. So this is mainly for kind of like new people, and because man, it's driving forward. It's a lot more easier than reversing. Most people come to my channel because of the whole the backing up problem. So the turns are not quite as entertaining. Now, let's say you're this close for some reason. All right, you're this close to the curb. Now I'm not going to start my turn until the center of my axles basically get to this point right here. So I'm going to keep driving straight. I'm not going to turn. Not going to turn. Not going to turn. Not going to turn. And now. All right, so hard right. All right, so see what happened there? So it is now if you get into this particular point, all right, where you can either wait for him to back up or leave or whatever, or you can really slowly, maybe always make sure there's nobody behind you first. You only need a few feet to do this, all right. But you kind of screwed up. Well, you could either just run over the curb too, all right. Well, let's try not to do that. All right, a lot of people do run over curbs. All right, we're just going to back up like a foot, and then we're going to keep going. All right. And you're going to keep an eye on your hood, and making sure you're not going to hit that bus. And then we're going to hug the bus. Hug it nice and close. All right, so if that makes your turn as wide as possible, even though I'm going over the yellow lines. All right, we're doing it nice and slowly, and we're not hitting anything. Okay. Personally, when I'm taking every right-hand turn, I'm as far left as I can be. All right. Reason, and now before you make your right-hand turn, all right, before you lose this side of the trailer, all right, take a peek just to make sure you got nothing next to you. You got to make sure that the swing of your trailer isn't going to hit anything, especially if you're going to be dipping. Even if you're going to dip over here, just take a peek. Just take a peek, and you can start your turn. And if you were far enough away from whatever object was on the left, life is golden. All right, you're not gonna hit anything. Okay, now this is a pretty standard right-hand turn. Now this right-hand turn isn't quite standard. So a lot of time when I'm approaching a right-hand turn, I just take up both these lanes here. All right, especially if it's new and I can see that it's kind of tight. I'll kind of then go out at this particular point, make sure there's nobody. Okay, just to be clear. All right, and if there's nobody in that left and there's nobody in this left-hand turn lane, by all means use it. Just use it. It's okay. You're not going to use it forever. You're just going to use it for a little bit, and then you can cut back in. Because not every right-hand turn you're going to be making is going to be a truck route. All right, this is not the CDL test. This is the real world. Like this corner that we're going to be taking here, right? Let's say you were doing your CDL test. All right. You want to make sure that you don't leave enough room for somebody to overtake you on the inside. All right, and basically what they want you to do is square it off. Now we can't start turning until roughly around here, but then look what's happening. I'm going to hit this guy. It's kind of a messed up situation, really. You know what I mean? You're trying to do stuff legally because you're told that you're not supposed to go wide and then cut back in. All right, but you try to obey everything, and you end up kind of screwing yourself. All right. Can we even make this without even actually hitting that curb? All right. Notice that my steering wheel, when I go all the way from the left to the right, it's not instant, because in real life, you can't turn your steering wheel any faster than that. Okay? So this is just you going crazy. All right, so you got to take that into consideration when you are playing this game. Okay? Now, let's say this is a situation that you're in. Look at that. You weren't. Yeah, I wasn't even making. Let's see how I would take this turn in order for me to miss this curb and miss this car. So a lot of the time, I'll take up both lanes. Look in my mirror, and yes, I am leaving a lot of room over here on the right. I got my turn signal on, all right, and I am paying attention to everything on this, all right. The chances are somebody coming in here are slim, but not impossible. Yes, it can happen. It definitely can happen, all right. So when you do make your turn, all you have to do is watch. Make sure nobody is there. At this point, just make sure no one's there. It's a simple thing. If there's somebody there, you stop. All right, maybe you can start crawling, but you just don't hit them. It's as simple as that. Always look in your hood mirror or your convex mirror underneath your flat mirror and be paying attention. Always presume that there's going to be somebody there. All right, so every time you leave enough space for somebody to get by, always presume someone's going to be there and you're always watching, and make it an absolute habit. Okay? So how are we doing? So yeah, we just about made it. Yeah, so you're going to get a lot of turns like that. Now, life would be great if we could have turns like this every single time, where you just barely even have to turn the steering wheel. You just start going, barely turn, everything's all great, and so those are the best ones. I do recommend that you go online before you take any turn you've never seen before and see what it looks like. That way you can prepare yourself. Of course, left-hand turns, always make sure that you stay in the right. If you have an option of lane, you always stay in the right-hand one. All right, and then you just square it off. Maybe you can start turning a little bit, just a little bit. That way you're not actually running into the guy over here. And sometimes you need to go all the way past here and then cut back in, because you got people who are traveling in this lane. Now, chances are they're not following that line. All right, they're just going straight over here and just cutting over, right? So pay attention to that, because sometimes you're actually going to be making a left-hand turn, and you're not going to be able to go this wide, okay? And you'll end up crossing that line, because again, we don't live in a perfect world here. Like for instance, like right here, like I took that really wide, and I'm still cutting in. All right, so pay attention, because not every car is going to pay attention, and like, pretty much I feel like 99% of the cars are actually watching you making that turn as well. And they all seem to stop kind of roughly around here and kind of wait till you've cleared. And let's just see if I can actually make that without going over that line. So I'm just going to drive straight, dead straight. I'm not going to do any turning. All right. And basically I'm going to go, yeah, let's cut in right now, but I'm going to keep hugging it to the right. Yes, and looks like looks like I was able to do that. Well, not really. See, I still missed it. All right. Anywho, there's this left-hand turn that I had to make once every 2 weeks. But without a doubt, there was nearly always a car right here waiting to do whatever turn he needs to do, and there nearly was always a guy over here. Now, I recommend going nice and slow, all right, and squaring it off. Squaring it off meaning you go straight for as long as you can, and then you turn, all right, because we got to get close to everything. We're driving past our turn, like I'm talking getting close, all right. And of course, if you know you can get closer, then get closer. All right, because now at this point here, you can slow down more, and if you're not going to be able to do it, kind of give a bit of a honk, and he'll probably back up. All right, it's not ideal, but our goal is not to hit anything. But as you can see here, we're able to make this turn by just a few inches. And you just got to be very aware. Go into Google Maps every time you're going to be making turns that you've never made before. Now, again, you're not always going to be on a truck route. All right. So a lot of the time when you're making right-hand turns, you got to take up every lane, sometimes even using the medium, because if somebody's waiting to turn here, he's either going to have to back up or you're going to have to wave him on because you need to get down this road because that's the only way to get to your customer. All right. And so because this is a really crap one. You know what I mean? So you got to go all the way out here. I can probably start turning. I should have started turning a little sooner than that. But you can take a wide. If nobody's using the road, by all means, use as much as you want. All right. Again, as long as you're doing stuff safely. All right. No one's going to give you any hard time, and not too excessive when it comes to going wide. But like let's take a look at this. All right. Okay, I should be already on oncoming traffic for this one. All right. So you just gotta get you gotta get your trailer axles as far away from that corner as possible so you can start turning in. And I might be able to get it in. All right, so let's zoom in. Okay, we don't want to hit the curb, so we're gonna have to stop. Make sure you look in every mirror, make sure there's no one behind you. All right. And oops, there we go. So I'm going to start hugging everything to the left because there's nobody using it. And if there were anybody there, they're going to have to wait for us to get by anyway. Okay, now we can start turning in. Okay, so you're going to get these turns. Again, always go to Google, look at those aerial photographs or aerial views and see what it looks like. Okay, now even, of course, after stopping, like sometimes you're gonna turn, you're gonna wait because remember we're gonna wait till roughly when you're this distance away. We can start turning now. All right, it's okay to cross a double yellow line as long as nobody else is occupying it. All right, you're just doing what you got to do to survive. It's just the world's a tough place for trucks, especially if there's no truck route. So like for this turn, I got to go all the way over here. And then to cut back in, just so because this curve is absolutely terrible. Oops, sorry, dude, my bad. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. There we go. Probably didn't need to go that wide. Probably should get his information. Nah, he's fine. He's fine. Anywho,